Thanks so much for having us, everyone, and excited to be kicking things off this morning. I'm up here with an amazing founder and visionary, a good friend of mine by the name of Josh Browder, who is the founder and CEO of DoNotPay. Again, my name is Brandon Deere. I am the founder of a group called Crew Capital and the Chief Strategy Officer of UiPath. So Josh, we're going to spend some time today, I guess, chatting through a bit about the product, the AI landscape, and what your vision for the company is. It's great to have you up here. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thank you for having me. DoNotPay is giving power to the people with AI, so helping people fight back against the system. Big companies use AI, and people deserve it too, so I'm excited.
Yeah. Before we get started, just by show of hands, how many people in the audience have ever received a parking citation? Ooh, good number. How about after a long day of work, gotten home, too tired to cook, maybe ordered something on Uber Eats or DoorDash, and were disappointed to find out upon delivery you got the wrong item, or maybe the delivery never even showed up at all? Yeah, a bunch of people in the front row here. Well, that's exactly the basis of the problem that the company DoNotPay goes to solve, is acting as an AI-assisted robot lawyer to serve on behalf of all of us for these small types of claims and nuances that occur in our day-to-day life that, candidly, in the year 2023, we shouldn't have to go spend time, effort, and resources to go solve on our own. So, Josh, I think we're all really curious to learn a bit more about the product and how you came to actually found the company.
So I started the company about 7 years ago because, as you can tell from my accent, I'm British. I moved to America, and I was a terrible driver and probably got about 30 parking tickets. And it actually started out as a template company where I figured out what to say to get out of a parking ticket, mainly about the signage or the mistake on the ticket. And I generated these template letters for my friends. And I could never have imagined, I just created it for a few friends, it would go globally viral. And so far, we've appealed hundreds of thousands of parking tickets. And that made me realize that the idea of helping people with software is bigger than just a few tickets. And so I spent the past few years expanding to other areas, building a robot lawyer. Fast forward now, and we have over 200 consumer rights products that help people, and we're really leaning into true AI rather than templates. So one thing I'm really excited about is we have AI negotiate people's bills. And the way it does that is it logs into someone's utility company, for example, Comcast, opens up the online chat, and the AI starts chatting with Comcast on behalf of a person. And it's interesting because Comcast is using AI, and the people are using AI. And so the two AIs are negotiating, and our AI wins. And one last thing I'll say is that this is the best thing about GPT-4. With GPT-3, Comcast would say, OK, I'll give you $100 off the bill, and GPT-3 would be like, thank you so much. GPT-4 is like, no, I want $200, or I'm leaving tomorrow. So AI is really progressing, and I'm excited for how it can help people.
Yeah. That's a great one. That's a fan favorite, I guess. We have a lot of Comcast fans in the audience, yeah. I guess. Josh, what was kind of the aha moment for you when this went from, like, college student with a bunch of parking tickets he didn't want to pay to, I could build a real business and sit in front of thousands of people and have a mission-oriented notion to creating a real company?
So on my website, I was just doing this from my dorm room. I actually started it in high school and then continued it in Stanford. And I had a contact form, and no one knew that there was just like this teenager behind this website. And so they would write in with their legal issues. And I wasn't a lawyer, and I could get in trouble by responding to their emails. But it gave me ideas for expanding. And what I realized is that America is a deeply broken country. I hate to say this, but you shouldn't need AI to cancel a subscription. Some gyms, you have to sign a letter and mail it off to the right place. And that's a great job for AI, but you shouldn't need AI to do it. And when I began realizing all the problems that people have and just jumping through hoops to get something done, that's when I realized that an RPA company for consumer rights would work.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's a great founding story. So let's assume, I'm a decent driver, but I still get a few parking tickets every year,
yeah.
Inevitably. Have some disputes with my utility company. I find DoNotPay. How much can I expect to save on a given year using the product?
So the average subscriber saves an estimated $400 a year, and that's a great ROI because these companies know you can't afford a lawyer. to dispute a $10 fee. And so there's like this problem of concentrated benefit but spread out harm. So what I mean by that is Wells Fargo can charge 1 million people a $10 late fee. They make $10 million, but the people can't afford a lawyer to fight back. And so this AI is good at getting $10 here, $20 there, and it adds up to about $400 a year.
Yeah. I've heard the paradox that life is a bit more expensive when you don't have a ton of money. Yeah. And I'm curious, with the advent of a lot of these AI technologies, how you think that those injustices might be rectified?
I think AI is going to make injustice expensive. For those, I know Black Hat is going on right now, so it's like a DDoS attack against these companies. Whenever they do something wrong, they get spammed with all these legal requests and stuff. And hopefully that will be a disincentive for doing bad things because they know that there's someone watching out. The AI is watching out to protect people.
Yeah. Let's dive maybe a bit more broadly into the actual technology itself. So it started off as kind of broad-based templates, which I think many of us can intuitively understand is that you have some sort of dispute or claim, and rather than sending an email or talking to an agent yourself, you had cleverly crafted some verbiage that made sense that you found had a high success rate of winning. Today, with the advent of large language models, it's probably completely altered how you guys build your services, serve your customers. Maybe talk about some of the stuff that you're using within your stack, early learnings, and where you think you're going to be able to go with the advent of some of this new technology.
We started using basic AI a few years ago for issue matching. One problem we had is that people don't understand which template to use or which button to press. And so we built something simple with a machine learning model where they can type anything in their own words, like the in-flight Wi-Fi didn't work, and it matches them to a letter. So the issue matching is the first thing. Then taking down all the details, validating all the details, and sending it off to the right place. The thing that we find AI most useful with is connecting our services to the real world. In like business, there are all these APIs that connect everything, but not with us. Comcast are never going to build an API to cancel your subscription. And so AI is really good at adversarial communication where it can pretend to be you and represent you on your behalf and give people a voice. Some people just aren't confident enough to dispute with these companies, and so it just gives people a voice and allows them to submit these templates automatically.
Yeah. But are you working with some of the paid foundational models under the hood? Do you have open source technology? Are you building specialized models on your own? How are you actually building the stack within DoNotPay?
So we're mainly just using the ChatGPT API, but we use GPT-J, which is an open source model. The reason why we use the open source model is there's some stuff we do that maybe OpenAI wouldn't be happy with, so we shift that to the open source.
Yeah, and I know OpenAI on 3.5 and 4.0, they have these rate limits that are imposed, and for GPT-4, for instance, it could be a bit aggressive, and the pricing on tokens could be quite onerous for a lot of companies. So how do you guys handle some of that cost and the trade-off between cost and performance?
I think the benefit of us is we're a paid product. It's very cheap. It's $36, which is like 1,000 times cheaper than a lawyer, but we're not relying on ads or we don't sell our customers' souls. And I think having a business model where you're aligned with your customers is really important. Rate limits is something we've encountered because what happens when we lose a bill negotiation is we just try again. We just keep trying until we win, and that's why we're so successful. The good news is that these disputes can be handled asynchronously, so we just batch these 24/7, and having an asynchronous product that you can batch is helpful. It's not so much the rate limiting with the AI companies. What does concern us is the arms race with the companies, because what they do is they add captures and they say, oh, if you're sending all the last speaker was talking about servers, if you're sending 1,000 requests from one IP, of course they're going to block you. The way we win with that is we're just more motivated. We're a team of guerrilla warriors fighting for consumers versus like the average United Airlines engineer who's not as motivated. And so it's constantly a cat and mouse arms race, and I think it'll continue.
But so that's interesting. So, I agree. A lot of these large corporations, a lot slower, much less incentive to move at the pace that you guys are and incorporate a lot of this leading edge technology. But at some point in the future, you might imagine that there's a world where every consumer has their own AI-assisted robot, and every corporation has its own type of agent, robot-assisted robot. And so you have this robot-to-robot communication that's occurring amongst consumers to enterprises, maybe even a gigabot economy where corporations are communicating with corporations through AI-assisted robotics. What does a world like that look like, and how do you continue to keep the pace with the other side?
Yeah, our investors at DoNotPay asked me what happens when all the problems are solved and all the refunds just happen automatically, and I said that would be a good world to have. So when we launched in Los Angeles, NPR asked the head of the Los Angeles Parking Ticket Bureau, what do you think of a service like DoNotPay? And he said, I actually like it because people write such gibberish in their parking ticket appeals that at least when it comes from a service like DoNotPay, it's standardized and it's easy to process. And I think that's the world, if I want to take a positive spin, where we can agree with the companies, all these disputes, no one has time to argue over $12. They can just be resolved automatically. And that's why a company like UiPath is so important, helping these corporations process the disputes and automating it so we live in a world where we can just relax and not have to worry about our cable bill.
Yeah, UiPath is the one company. We're on the right side of the fence with you, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe tell us a little bit about the dynamics of the team, how you guys are thinking about scaling your organization. You've built such an amazing brand and so much awareness in just a short number of years, and you've done it so efficiently. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I've been very fortunate. We have millions of people who use DoNotPay every month. We have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, but we're only a team of 7 full-time employees and 7 contractors. And I think this is really a powerful thing about software and AI. The inputs don't have to scale with the outputs. You can build something and everyone can use it, and as long as it's helpful for a problem, it can scale infinitely, and you don't have to hire all these people to type out documents. It can just scale. And hopefully, I mean, I'm biased, but I think everyone in the whole world could benefit from something like DoNotPay. So eventually, we want to go global and keep our lean team.
Where are you guys live today?
We're just the US. As I mentioned, US has got so many broken problems that we've got our work cut out here.
Yeah, that makes sense. And Josh, I know you've raised tens of millions of dollars from outside investors. Talk about your process for which you evaluated who you brought into your organization, how you thought about VC firms, like, picking those types of partners can be challenging at times.
I raised my first round in 2016. It was a very different time. You actually had to build something to raise money. And because of that, I wanted to be very thoughtful about who I was giving up percentage to, and I'm very lucky I've got some of the best investors. I would recommend getting a top VC firm or two. Andreessen Horowitz is our largest investor, but then also getting amazing angels and companies that align with our mission. UiPath is one of them. So.
Yeah. Well, we've got just a few minutes left here, Josh. Is there anything that you'd like to leave the audience with, maybe a parting story of one of your most interesting cases or something bright and rosy about the future?
Yeah, so we have 200 products, and everyone always asks me, what's your favorite DoNotPay product? And it's an easy answer, and it's suing robocallers. So there's this amazing law. It's called the Telephone Consumer Protection Act. It means you can get $1,500 every time you get a robocall. And these robocallers hide behind spoof numbers, and they don't tell you who they are. But we've built a product to get cash from robocallers. And the way it works is they phone you up, and they try and sell you something, and you give them a special DoNotPay credit card. And when they try and run the credit card, it declines, but we get their business name, address, phone number, and then the AI generates a lawsuit to sue them. And we have one user, he's in New Jersey. He's made tens of thousands of dollars suing robocallers. It's like his full-time job using DoNotPay. He's almost like the AI, he's like a one-man FTC AI-powered guy. And he bought a new roof for his house from the proceeds. And I think it's really exciting for two reasons. One, obviously it gives power to the people. These robocallers are evil and need to be stopped with AI. And then the second thing is, it's not just about AI. In that product, we use fintech, virtual credit card, to track down the robocallers. And so if you combine all these great technologies, good things can happen.
Yeah, that's amazing, Joshua. What a creative solution. How do we find out more about DoNotPay? I mean, we talked about a few use cases today, but where can we go to learn if you guys remediate an issue that any one of us in the audience might have? How do we figure out pricing? How do we sign up?
DoNotPay.com. If anyone wants a free subscription, find me afterwards, because we like giving free subscriptions given the company name. And also, I'm on Twitter at Joshua Browder, so I'd love to connect with everyone.
Yeah. Well, Josh, thank you for what you've built. It's amazing. I think you have a bunch of new fan faves here. Thank you.
Thank you.